It's draft week, and that means it's time for A-plus 7-round mock drafts for every NFL team, and this one is for the New York Giants. You got to trade two of your highest-rated players on the board and an A-plus class from Mullet Mel, ESPN draft nerd Jeremy Green. That's me. If you can make a Jets fan say that this would piss me off if the Giants were able to procure this class, that should say a lot. This is the Sportsocracy, and I'm Jeremy Green, and this is the 7-round mock draft for the New York Giants. We start at number 25 with Deonte Banks, cornerback out of Maryland. I'm almost upset that this guy has skyrocketed up the board so much because I thought he was one of those little darlings of mine that could make me look really smart. Then he ran a 4.35 at the combine. People started paying more attention to the technique and the skill and what he put on tape. And now this kid's almost guaranteed to go in the first round. I don't know that there's a more overall balanced corner in this entire class. Got really good length, can play on the outside, has played in zone, has played in man, does all kinds of things really well. He's a step slow from time to time. I'm not going to say I was shocked that he ran a 4.35. He just didn't always put that on tape. So I feel like that's going to have to round off in the NFL, and he's going to get a little better against the run. But this is a day one starter, and him and Adoree Jackson on opposite sides of each other. There is no receiver in the NFL that is going to be able to get over the top on the New York Giants. Another player I know you like, you're going to have to trade up to get him because you got to get in front of my New York Jets. And I have you doing just that. It's a trade with the Tennessee Titans. You give up 57, you give up 89 to get to number 41 and take John Michael Schmitz, 6'3", 300-pound redshirt senior center out of Minnesota. This is one of the highest-rated center prospects I've ever had. He is an absolute technician, and the Giants are said to be in love with him, and I get it. He is a thinking man's NFL football player. He is a blue-collar offensive lineman. There is nothing he cannot do. The only knock on him is that he is not as fleet of foot as you would necessarily like, but he is consistent in the run game, in the pass game, making the offensive line calls. I absolutely love this player, and he will not survive past the Jets, so you would have to trade up to go get him, which you do here at number 41. That takes you off the clock until the fourth round. Number 128, you add another weapon. Marvin Mims, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. He's small, but man, is he fast. 4.38 40, big play threat, was consistently beating people deep in college. The only problem is that his good was really good, and he annihilated people in coverage. But then he would disappear for long periods of time. I think you're going to have to generate his touches early on. But he also adds a lot in the kicking game immediately. This gives you another player. He's not a hat on a hat with Wan'Dale Robinson because they just do different things. Wan'Dale's very gadgety. Marvin Mims is the deep threat that opens up the running lanes and allows you to do everything you can with Saquon Barkley, who I do think will be back. That pushes you into the fifth round where you have two picks. First, speaking of Saquon, give him somebody to kind of take the pressure off. Kendre Miller, running back out of TCU, 5'11", 215 pounds, really big, thick running back. I like this kid's tape a lot. I just don't – he's a two-down back. I think he's a perfect complement to Saquon Barkley. He would be a nice guy to give early down carries to take some of the workload off of Saquon. He really does a lot of things. You just have to understand that I don't think he's ever going to be a three-down back. I don't think he's ever going to give you anything in the passing game. So he needs to be paired with somebody like Saquon Barkley. And as close as the running back class is, that's why I have him falling here into the fifth round at number 160. 172 in the fifth round, Payne Durham, tight end out of Purdue. This is one of the better blocking tight ends in the class and has the highest upside as a blocker in the class. Takes some weird angles now, and he's really slow, but he's big-bodied, finishes blocks well. I think he would be a nice compliment to Darren Waller, a nice compliment to Daniel Bellinger, frankly, because he's a better blocker than Bellinger, but he's not as good a receiver as either one. So now I think you could do a lot of multiple things, playing legit 12 personnel with Darren Waller on the outside. This just makes you more multiple, gives you more pieces, makes the offense even more dynamic. Number 172 in the fifth round, Payne Durham, the tight end out of Purdue. One pick in the sixth round, Linebacker is I'm not gonna say it's a huge need. I just think you need some depth there, and you get that here with Ventrell Miller, linebacker out of Florida, 6 foot, 232 pounds. Has some good 2-down tape. I think he's really good against the run. Has a nice aggressive streak that really holds up well against the run. I think he would come in immediately and be one of the best special teams players, possibly in the league. And that may be his high side. He may never really have much of a defensive role, but he is going to be a special teams ace from day one in the NFL. A lot of people have he struggles in coverage. Well, I'm not going to ask him to do that. That's the reason you can get him here, because his first 2-down tape dictates that he should go higher than this, and there will be lesser linebackers that go ahead of him. 3 picks in the 7th round. Start with Jalen Wayne, wide receiver out of South Alabama. 6'2", 210, 4.51 in the 40. Really mature kid, really smart, thinking man's wide receiver. I'm just not sure that he doesn't have real physical limitations, and that I'm not sure he's going to be able to separate. And it could be that he's not a polished route runner right now. He's having to outsmart corners, and that was at a low level of football. Now, if I'm wrong, there is a high side here that is really intriguing because he's very good at the point of the catch. He's actually Reggie Wayne's first cousin. And so he comes from a football family, and it shows. He's just a raw prospect because I'm not sure that he's ever going to learn the full route tree, because a lot of the ways he gets open is very deceptive. Uses his eyes, manipulates people with his feet. Just a really smart kid, and would be a great value pick at 240. 2 more picks in the 7th round. First one is Johnny Buchanan. This is a kid that they brought in. He's a linebacker out of Delaware. And I'm not really sure what to do with this kid because he's so damn small. But he's really aggressive. The problem is that he's too damn aggressive. Ton of tackles at Delaware, obviously lower level of football. It's another guy that I think his low side is that he's really good on special teams, nice depth piece. I'm not sure that he doesn't just get absolutely blown out of the water in the running game. He tested well, and that is what has got people getting him in the building and really wanting to get a better read on him, one of those being the New York Giants. And I think he could easily be one of their late-round selections here in the 7th round. One more pick, 254, one of the last picks in the draft, Jason Adamola from Notre Dame, 6'3", 284. I'm not sure he's a draftable prospect, but so many teams have had him in the building that I think he probably gets drafted late. He's really big. He's really physical, but my God, he is raw. He's just kind of a bull rusher, and it doesn't always show. He's got the great motor, and the tape is consistent. I just don't know that he always – this is like the Forrest Gump line. Or dog chasing cars. He wouldn't know what to do with it if he caught it. And that's the problem, is sometimes he wins, but he has absolutely no plan of what he's going to do when he does so. Very raw, developmental piece, a player that you could put on the practice squad, develop over a year or two, and use that motor and try to rein it in and see if you can use that aggressiveness for good instead of for inconsistent. If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if you just want to call me a big mulleted dipshit, feel free to do that in the comments. We will be unveiling my full 7-round mock draft of how I think the draft will go in TikToks, YouTube shorts, reels, all those things over the course of the next 4 days, leading up to our live coverage of every pick of the 2023 NFL Draft live here on YouTube.